Barbados' four main trade unions and business leaders send a strong message as they draw the support of thousands in a massive march. That's the story we're tracking in the Barbados Today Evening News for Monday, July 24. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. With the strong backing of a crowd estimated to be over 20,000, officials of the Barbados Workers' Union, the National Union of Public Workers, the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, the Barbados Union of Teachers, and the Barbados Private Sector Association declared their joint march a success. And they're hoping that the Freundel Stuart administration sees it as nothing more than a loud call from Barbadians to return to the bargaining table to discuss tough austerity measures, particularly the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy. For just over 2 hours, citizens from all walks of life urged the government to listen to their pleas for relief. Most of them told Barbados Today they are hoping that government gets the message.
What we want is for you to listen to our suggestions, just at least consider us, consider what we're saying, you know, and so that we can work together and try to lift Barbados out of this state, because things are only going to get worse. And once they get worse, it's going to affect every last one of us in Barbados. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make, you know. We have to work together. We are one people, one nation. We need to come together and just hear us, listen to us.
And the big picture is not political. When I came out, I was hoping, and I'm glad to see that it has not been heavily politicized by the opposing parties. It is for Barbadians in general. Yes, the NUPW and the unions and the private sector put it together, but it's not 100% political. Yes, it is meant to put pressure on the political party in power, but it's not a political movement.
It's just not about one person, it's about everybody. It depends on everybody. It's not dependent on the cabinet that runs the country. Understand that we, the people of Barbados, is who put you there. That is all it is about, is we coming together. And I think that when you say something about one person, you should be included in everybody. It's not your one decision, it is everybody's decision. So I think that we have a point that we can prove.
I think that the march sends a message through to Barbados, to every institution in Barbados that has leadership, in the leadership position. I think the march has sent that to them. And I hope that from here on, things will improve. I really hope so. For workers and for the people of the country as a whole.
The crowd returned to its starting point at Queen's Park, where union leaders and private sector officials addressed several issues raised by Prime Minister Freundel Stuart, who blasted the march as ill-conceived and political at a party luncheon yesterday. NUPW President Akani McDowell, in his address, turned the tables on the Prime Minister's charge that the union was disrespectful to his office.
Now I am angry. And I am disappointed that the Prime Minister would use a lunchtime lecture to respond to Barbadians on such a serious issue. That is a fact. We have been asking for dialogue, but instead we got a response from the Prime Minister through a lunchtime meeting. Now, people say that I am disrespectful. People say that Tony is disrespectful. People say that Mary is disrespectful. And people say that Pedro is disrespectful. But I want to ask you a question. Is that disrespectful? Yes! Did the Prime Minister disrespect us? Yes! What he did was disrespectful. He should have addressed the nation. It is a serious issue.
And when President of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Mary Redmond, took to the podium, she attempted to clear the air on the Prime Minister's revelation that the two sides had agreed at a meeting on June 23rd that public servants would receive a salary increase in September. Redmond insisted that no such assurance was given, and promised follow-up meetings have still not been held.
The unions come together in the absence of an assurance of a salary or an interim coping measure, then we would have to reduce the NSRL. And we wanted a reduction of no less than 50%, taking that NSRL down from 10 to 5%. The Prime Minister started to explain that to do that, he would have to take it back to Cabinet when he was interrupted and cut short by the Minister of Finance, who said, no way, that tax has to remain, and if it doesn't remain, look for job cuts. That meeting ended with no agreement between the parties, but with an understanding that salary negotiations would restart at the soonest possible time. The union, as Brother McCann said, made it known that any agreement going forward would require a written document outlining the understanding, since we had been burnt during previous negotiations with the government in the past.
At the same time, the General Secretary of the Barbados Workers' Union, Tony Moore, expressed concern that the country's social partnership is underperforming because of the government's lack of cooperation.
It takes, in the union we say, one hand to clap. But in the social partnership, it takes 3 pairs of hands to clap. And today we have 2 pairs of hands clapping. And we have the other pair of hands telling you that we have no right to be participating in matters that impact us, that we should leave the principal decisions that will govern us and the principal decisions that will determine our future to a few who make up the cabinet.
The opposition Barbados Labour Party was on the streets with Barbadians today, and party member Dr. William Duguid told our news team that enough is enough and it is time for the government to engage the people.
I would hope that the Prime Minister and his cabinet would seek to have a dialogue with the people and try to come to an amicable agreement so that we can come to a resolution and a win-win situation, not a win-lose situation as we've had with the Democratic Labour Party for all this time. Every single time we've had an issue, the Democratic Labour Party puts the burden on the people of this country. Every single time. And we have said enough is enough, and now it's time for us to come out and show the Democratic Labour Party and show the Prime Minister that the people are unified and resolved to make a difference in this country.
Meanwhile, political scientist Peter Wickham says today's massive turnout speaks for itself, and the Prime Minister is obligated to respond.
It's a reflection of the fact there's a lot of frustration. You know, over the past few days, we have been splitting hairs about whether this is motivated by one thing or another, whether there's a racial factor or whatnot. But what I'm seeing today, to me, tells me that there are just a lot of people that are fed up. And that is really a reflection of it. Whether you are concerned about the NSRL, whether you're concerned about the lack of communication, I do see that this crowd speaks to an evolving sentiment of just fed upness. My question is, after this, what? Will this feeling or this sentiment subside, or will this sentiment get worse, and what are the expressions that this sentiment will give rise to? So those are my areas of concern.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya.
Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl. You know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the vendor for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shiny. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. In news from the region, Guyana records its 2nd prison break in a month. Today, 13 prisoners from the swamped area of the Lusignan prison escaped after digging a hole and scaling the high-walled facility. 90 prisoners were being held at the East Coast Demerara jail following the July 9 escape and burning of the Camp Street prison in Georgetown. Public Security Minister Khemraj Ramjatan has described the escapees as the real bad ones, and lawmen have launched an intensive manhunt. Authorities have appealed to the public to remain calm and to report all suspicious activities to the nearest police station. And on the international scene, police are conducting a manhunt for a chainsaw-wielding attacker who injured 5 people in northern Switzerland. We get more in this report from CNN.
We already heard there are 5 people injured, 2 of them seriously, on an attack that occurred about, I don't know, at 11:30 this morning here in the town of Schaffhausen in the very north of Switzerland. Our current information is that the person who may have committed this crime is still on the run.
In terms of this information about the chainsaw, that's confirmed by the police, isn't it? But what do we know about the motive of the attack or the nature of it?
It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed. We only been told by people living in this closed down area by telephone calls. The police hasn't officially confirmed this information.
And that takes us to the end of the news this evening. But for the latest, you can visit our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. We're also on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good evening.